Hello again, students. This is again Teacher Chan, and I'm gonna give you today the types of conflict as an important element of a story. Before discussing to you the types of conflicts, let us read first the story about the spider and the fly.
Mr. Spider wanted to marry Miss Fly. Many times, he told her of his love and begged her to become his wife, but she always refused, for she did not like him. One day, when she saw Mr. Spider coming again, Miss Fly closed all the doors and windows of her house and made ready a pot of boiling water. She waited, and when Mr. Spider called, begging her to allow him to enter, she answered by throwing boiling water at him. This made Mr. Spider very angry, and he cried, "I will never forgive you for this, but I and my descendants will always despise you. We will never give you any peace." Mr. Spider kept his word, and even today, one can see the hatred of the spider for the fly. The end.
I hope you like the story about the spider and the fly. Now, question number 1. Who are the characters in the story? The characters in the story are the spider and the fly. Very good. Question number 2. What does Mr. Spider want? Right, Mr. Spider wanted to marry Miss Fly. Question number 3. What was the reaction of Miss Fly? Yes, Miss Fly does not like Mr. Spider. Next question. What did Miss Fly do that angered Mr. Spider very much? Yes, she threw boiling water at him. Next question. What is the ending of the story? The ending of the story is that they kept on hating each other even until today. Why? Because you can always see until today that a spider wanted to catch a fly. My dear students, what we have just read is an example of a story with a conflict. Conflict, what is it? A conflict is the dramatic struggle between opposing forces in a story. It is the central issue that makes the story move. No conflict means no plot, and no plot means no story. Now let's move on to the types of characters in a story. They are the protagonist and antagonist. Protagonist is a central character of a story and is written as being good or hero most of the time, while antagonist is the character that causes or leads the conflict and known as bad or villain most of the time.
Alright, let's proceed with the first type of conflict. First one is character versus self. This is also called internal conflict. It happens within the character. For example, making a tough decision or overcoming guilt, fear, sadness, or a personal issue. Like this guy, he is maybe confused and in doubt, which makes the conflict within himself because the battle or the trouble happens within himself. Number 2, character versus character. It happens when the struggle is between two or more characters in the story. When characters in a story has conflict with one another or with another person, that is character versus character. Number 3, character versus society. In many stories, the protagonist battles against an element of government or culture. This is now a conflict between a character and the society. When a character, for example, commits something which is against the rule of the society or the norms, that character may find trouble with the society. Like Shrek, the ogre who was despised from the kingdom because he is an ogre whom the people believe to be ruthless and even eat humans. Number 4, character versus nature. This type of conflict pits a character against a natural force such as a flood, fire, blizzard, disease, epidemic, or pandemic. And this happens when a character experiences forces or acts of nature and when that character has trouble with a certain situation brought about by nature. That is character versus nature. Number 5, character versus supernatural. This is a conflict between a character and typically unbelievable or supernatural phenomena such as vampires, aliens, ghosts, or others. Supernatural elements are parts of some famous literary pieces and, admit it or not, we feel thrilled and excited about it. Like the most famous Harry Potter, Clash of the Titans, Hotel Transylvania, Percy Jackson, and the like. Number 6. Character versus fate. This happens when a character struggles between his or her own destiny or predetermined fate. Like the example, Frodo Baggins was destined to destroy the Ring of Sauron. Once he stepped into the core of Sauron, he couldn't have resisted the ring, but he did, despite all challenges and hardships that he faced.
Alright, so we're done discussing with all those 6 types of conflict. Now it's your turn to practice. So, with the following pictures, you have to decide what type of conflict is being illustrated. In this picture, what do you think is a type of conflict? This is character versus character. Look at the woman, how she feels. Maybe she has a problem or she is confused about something. So it's an example of character versus character, an internal conflict. How about this picture? This is an example of a character versus society because a person who faces a trial commits something which is against the rule and the laws of society. In this picture, this is an example of a character versus a character. How about this picture? This is character versus nature.
How about this paragraph? What type of conflict is this? Charles decided to break all the rules the day he decided to steal that car. He was immediately arrested and sent to jail to await his trial. He should have known better than to mess with the rules. What conflict is this? This is character versus society. How about this one? After the light in the cave was completely gone, Tom began to stumble through the cave blindly, cutting his hands on what appeared to be sharp rocks. This is character versus nature.
Alright, we're done with the 6 types of conflict. You have learned about character versus self, character versus character, character versus society, character versus nature, character versus supernatural, and character versus fate. Great job! Thank you so much for standing by. This is again Teacher Chan, and I hope to see you soon.